Grenada and the rest of the world. It's a Wednesday morning here on the Spice Isle. Loads and loads of sunshine as we greet you from our tiny little town of St. George. Interesting morning, as always, coming up for you. We're going to be bringing you a lot of the usual stuff, but we also have some visitors here. By the way, just let's take a quick glance. See that? See that? See those two smiling faces? Kalana on the left and Tamika on the right. Yeah? Well, those folks are going to be chatting with us, but a little bit later on. Taking a look at the rundown, we're going to start this morning with an opinion piece from Mr. William Joseph. He sent that to me yesterday, and I think it's going to be published on a few other websites as well. And it was published on Grenada Broadcast last night, I think it was. Then we do have the national report from the Government Information Service. And as I mentioned to you, after that, we're going to have Kalana and Tamika having a little chat with us. After we have had our little tete-a-tete, if you will, we're going to be hearing something I came across on social media last night. It's actually a prayer that was written by a young lady by the name of Tessa Barry. Now, those of you who join us on Sunday mornings for Sundays with George Grant are very, very familiar with the name Tessa Barry. For years, this lady been hanging out with us every Sunday morning, 9 o'clock. By the way, did you hear about the earthquake last night? There was a, get this, 7.5 earthquake. And nowhere near to us. That happened on the other side of the world, about 104 miles to the southeast of New Caledonia, some little islands out there in the Pacific. Happened at about 18 minutes after midnight, our time last night. So, pilgrims, let's get started. Now, that opinion piece I told you about from William Joseph is captioned, "The winner's victory lap. The counters must pay." Now, sounds like Morse code. Yeah. Listen to this. He says, "All must bow before the reign of the Grenadian Goliath." After they had executed Maurice Bishop and others, the RMC held a party for the PRA. It was their victory lap. The gun had delivered death, and all power belonged to the RMC. There was no mourning, no rest, and no reflection. 35 years later, the winner takes a victory lap after fingering the purses of poor teachers and public officers and throwing them under every legal bus he could find. The Grenadian Goliath was happy to use the law just as the Central Committee was happy to use the gun. In both cases, the intent was to show who had power. Lock that in. "Is my damn money. I had to take it." Quote, unquote. Recall the parable of the unforgiving servant in Matthew's Gospel? Here was a servant who received debt forgiveness for 10,000 denarii. But immediately thereafter, he grabbed his fellow servant who owed him just 100 denarii and began to choke him for his money. The winner's strike on the workers yielded $1.3 million. The workers' sacrifice under the structural adjustment program, by way of salary increases foregone and taxes, dues, fees, and levies paid, amounted to well over $200 million. So, the very people who had given so much towards the success of the SAP, that's the Structural Adjustment Program, found themselves as living sacrifices on the altar of political power. The winner no longer cared. He had power. He had his crown of praises. He had his 15 seats. He could form a cabinet of teachers. Lock that in. Let's go further and enter upon the theater of national conflict. The winner, a la Donald Trump, has decided to fire up his supporters. So now, one set of poor Grenadians is being set up to fight another set of poor Grenadians. The producer, the contributor, the sacrificer must be degraded and demonized through the minds and mouths of many who made no sacrifice because they were poor and vulnerable. The saying is true that if you lie on your back and spit into the air, it will fall right back onto your face. Strange thing, when he who worked hard to earn a salary is castigated by he who is comforted with a handout. Since when does an employer not pay his fixed costs, for example, wages and salaries of his employees, because he wishes to spend on others or give some gifts and donations? The latter falls in the category of discretionary spending. Not so? Alarmingly, the winner now pronounces that that group has an equal claim to the Treasury. Why? In 1983, the Central Committee of the NJM declared Bishop a counter. In 2018, the winner declares teachers and public officers as counters against his rulership, and they must pay the price. Lock that in. The evidence is that commandeering the 1.3 million was not enough. Alongside that comes the irresponsible promotion of hostility and conflict among neighbors. Additionally, and perhaps most importantly, teachers and public officers of today will not get to own their little house. Remember, ownership is a major cultural factor. Or settle their big debts. Effectively, without a gratuity, they are condemned to paying debts for the rest of their lives. The responsibility to manage does not include a privilege to deny just and reasonable obligations. Seemingly, the regime is prepared to use a law, the Fiscal Responsibility Act, to smash a cultural norm of the people. The winner has exacted a heavy price on the lives of this group of working class people, both in terms of dollars, loss of community, and conflict. Lock that in. The Grenadian society has once again been driven to the vortex of grief and sadness. We are in decadence mode because the mindset and spirit of the winner is not about enlightenment, statesmanship, or leadership. Papa Jerry laid his pathology bare in 2005, and those lyrics remain as potent as ever today. In the beginning, we were cautioned and counseled. Then we were tricked and trapped. For a long time, and continuing, we are being buffeted and battered. Secondly, we're facing a real problem of governance. Electoral victory is now being paraded as a mandate to punish, disrespect, and roll over others. Power play is preferred to constructive dialogue and conversations aimed at resolving problems. You know, we are on a dangerous ground when party supporters speak of the winner as the owner of everything and everyone in Grenada. And no one is correcting them. Democracy may redistribute power, but the responsibility to use it justly is fixed. The reality is that the worst of the continent we left over 500 years ago is present among us. No wonder why we could not find in the winner a champion for justice surrounding the last referendum of the CCJ. Thirdly, there is an urgent need to consider the shape of the nation heading towards 50 years of independence. Division is still festering. Leadership is lacking. Service to the nation is not a motivating force. The young cannot look to the holders of power as examples to emulate. Communities are shivering. Ask the children of Israel. They know that the Father stopped the manna, when and why. Poverty is in persistent rise, and food chain politics is the order of the day. Add to that tribalism and personal ambition. There is gold dust all over the greenery and bronze ashes all over the rest of us. Lock that in. The time has come for us to dig deep in order to find genuine gold and other symbols of real value. Our nations need spiritual cover, and it needs men and women who are prepared to say, we are well able. We certainly do not need those who believe that victory is a blank, color-coded check. Victory without Christian cover and compassion will yield suffering and is doomed. There is greater unity in the country when the Prime Minister takes the high ground with his tone, attitude, and relationships. There is quality development when the Cabinet of Ministers focuses on the business of government as being more important than the folly of being a cabinet of teachers. Those who wish to lead the people must know the times and know what is good for Grenada. We could continue with the winner model of retribution politics and piggy bank government, but that would not satisfy Snowbees, who recently was very profound in saying in his call to the authorities, govern that for me now. Lock that in. Pilgrims, there you have it. That's an opinion piece which was forwarded by a policy analyst, Mr. Mr. William Joseph, yesterday. Just in case you missed any part of it, you can go to the GrenadaBroadcast.com website. Check it out. It's going to be there. You may read it at your own convenience. Let me take a quick look on Facebook and see who day and who do day. I see T.F. Richards is saying good morning, Spice Isle, tuned in from Brooklyn. Hello, Brooklyn. Nice to have you. Veronica Sandy is there. Good morning, George Grant. Morning, Grenada, and everybody everywhere. Fitzroy Adams is saying good morning, George. There are many ways to hang a down without rope. What am I missing here, buddy? There are many ways to hang a down without rope. Okay. Beverly Mitchell says, good morning, George. T.F. Richard says, a well-written piece by Mr. Joseph. But don't worry, Goliath can do what he wants. For now. But surely David, not Pedro, would, would be victorious. Lock that down. So says This guy has a warped sense of humor. T.F. Richards, you do have a sense of humor. And finally, Irene George is saying, good morning, George. Good morning to Irene and everybody else. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. Take a little break now, and then we'll come back with the National Report.
Hubbard's, bringing you Frigidaire Christmas Cheer. With the purchase of any Frigidaire fridge, freezer, stove, washer, or air conditioning unit, you get a free 3-piece Frigidaire non-stick pot set. Come into our appliance department on the Carronage and Building Supplies Grandance to get your trusted Frigidaire products and enhance your cooking this Christmas. Offer available while stocks last. Hubbard's, quality service, affordable prices.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try their sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Spread some cheer and show you care with Grenlec's Give-A-Wish promotion. Do you know someone who has had a challenging year and deserves some good fortune, or a worthy cause that needs extra support? Grant them a wish this holiday season with Grenlec. Just pay your bill in full, then write their name, address, and phone number on the top portion of your bill. Add your phone number and drop it into the wish box at any of our Grenlec customer centers, or you can enter online via our Facebook page. 15 customers will receive a $500 electricity voucher for giving a wish to someone who deserves it. And 15 winners will each have their wish granted, valued at up to $1,500. What's more, 230 lucky customers will win $75 electricity vouchers. Spread the cheer this year with Grenlec's Give-A-Wish promotion. Visit our website or Facebook page for more information. Terms and conditions apply. Promotion ends December 21st.
You know, you folks think I'm kidding when I say things like, what would we do without her? Remember, I think it was only yesterday I was saying, what would we do without Margaret Francis? Margaret has just chimed in here. She heard me taking a turn at, I think it was Fitzroy Adams. Margaret says, good morning. I think he's trying to say there are many ways to hang a dog without putting a rope around its neck. Thank you, Margaret. What would we do without you? Thanks for clarifying. Pilgrims, let's get right into last night's edition of the National Report.
Prime Minister confident good sense will prevail when negotiations continue between public sector unions and Pension Engagement Committee. We'll have the details to this story and more in the National Report. With the news in detail for Tuesday, December 4th, I'm Delroy Luzon. Prime Minister Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell is optimistic that differences between public sector unions and the Pension Engagement Committee over advanced payment of pension or gratuity will be thrashed out. Following a meeting on November 27th, it was agreed that negotiations will resume on Friday, December 7th, and that the Pension Engagement Committee will provide new proposals on pension restoration and reform to trade unions and staff associations by today, Tuesday, December 4th. Dr. Mitchell, who is currently in Trinidad for the 18th special meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of the Caribbean Community on the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, believes good sense will eventually prevail.
I think common sense has certainly prevailed, and I think it will be solved. I wouldn't be here now if I didn't think it would be solved. Because our children's education is too important for us to do anything that causes problems to that. So I think things should be all right.
Leader of Government Business in the Upper House, Senator Simon Steele, made brief reference to the subject during his contribution to the 2019 budget on Tuesday.
A way forward has been agreed by both parties. This way forward includes the submission of a new proposal by the Government's Pension Engagement Committee, which is due today, and for negotiations to recommence later this week. Mr. President, the only way in which we are going to find a resolution is for all parties to constructively engage and to sit around the bargaining table.
The decline in the country's unemployment rate is among government's main achievements to date. That's according to the Leader of Government Business in the Upper House, Senator the Honorable Simon Steele, as he made his contribution to the 2019 budget on Tuesday under the theme Building Resilience, Advancing Social Development, Transforming Our Economy. Senator Steele says preliminary results from the 2018 Labor Force Survey indicated that the unemployment rate has fallen by 2.7%, from 23.6% in December 2017 to 20.9% in June 2018.
What this number tells us is that the employed labor force has expanded significantly. This means jobs have been found for recent school and college leavers and others entering the labor market for the first time. But in addition, there has also been a significant decline in the unemployed labor force, those who have been long-term unemployed who have now found work.
He attributes the decline to the new Imani, Fly and Empower programs, as well as Housing Brigade and Environmental Wardens programs, among several others, which were initiated this year.
It is important to point out that the unemployment rate could fall further by the end of this year. With the government's recent addition of another batch of 800 Imani trainees, plus 500 young men employed in the Empower initiative, plus another 800 persons having been employed in the Housing Construction Brigade and as environmental wardens, will collectively have a significant downward impact on the unemployment rate. Mr. President, let us not forget where the unemployment rate was when we first entered into office in 2013, over 40%. To bring the rate down by half and still falling is a remarkable achievement.
Addressing shortcomings in building codes and implementing a comprehensive land use policy, some of the priorities of the Keith Mitchell administration. Government Senator Simon Steele says they will work with the OECS Secretariat to review regional building codes to establish a common standard and building practice. He says this will ensure both domestic and commercial properties are more durable and resilient to climate shock. The initiative will be supported by implementation of recommendations identified through the development of a national land use policy. This is the National Report. Stay tuned, we'll have more news after the break. Welcome back. Carry-on community or CARICOM heads of government are being challenged by Trinidad's Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley to move the CARICOM Single Market and Economy or CSME forward. Speaking at the start of their 18th special meeting, which is focused on the CSME at the Hilton Hotel in Port of Spain, the host Prime Minister posed the question, if not now, when? If not us, who? The two-day meeting is looking at increasing the rate of implementation of the CSME and making sure the benefits are available for community nationals. Grenada's Prime Minister Dr. the Right Honourable Keith Mitchell is in Port of Spain for the meeting. And finally in the news, creating an enabling environment for biogas technology as a sustainable waste management practice and reducing dependence on imports such as LPG and chemical fertilizers. That is the objective of the market creation for small-scale biogas systems in Grenada. The pilot project, MAC BIOS, is jointly implemented by the Ministry of Infrastructural Development, Public Utilities, Transport, Energy and Implementation, and the Ministry of Agriculture, together with the German Society for International Cooperation, GIZ. Through the MAC BIOS project, significant support has been given to Grenada and Carriacou, which includes the installation of 7 biogas digesters, intensive training and capacity building. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Youth Development, Sports, Culture and the Arts, Kevin Andel, says government continues to invest in the fight against the negative effects of climate change, an issue which has become a hot topic across the world.
Climate change is not a hoax. It is real with us. It is a pleasure that we are this afternoon seeking to close a chapter while looking towards the future. In recent years, a number of topics and issues have surged to the forefront of our national discussion and debate, mainly due to the realities of climate change. But also, as we begin to better understand its impact, we are propelled to know that our actions would help in terms of economic and the social well-being of our citizens. This year, the IPCC released their special 1.5 report that compared the anticipated effects of having an overall global temperature rise limit to 1.5 degrees. As always, the small island developing state seed and the developed country are different in how they see this.
GIZ representative Dieter Rothenberger alluded to the importance of such a project.
The biogas system had a lot of surprises for us. It's still growing and it still has a lot of potential. And I would say that Montserrat has shown the kind of case, the financial case of it. And we have to be honest, in the project we and implemented in Grenada at the moment, we haven't seen that to the full extent. That means we still have a lot of potential for making better use of it. And this is basically 2 components. One component is the question of feeding, having sufficient resources to feed it, having access to the resources, but also doing actually the feeding. And the second part is then the gas use. So the more structured you deal with the gas usage, the higher is the benefit in the end for the farmer and for the system itself. And so therefore, this is something we still, we keep on promoting, looking into, okay, well, how can you use the gas? What can you do with the gas in addition to what you've been doing before?
That story ends the national report for today, Tuesday, December 4th, 2018. Recapping the top story, Prime Minister confident good sense will prevail when negotiations continue between public sector unions and Pension Engagement Committee. That's all from us here at the Government Information Service. Thanks for joining us. I'm Delroy Louzan.
Why wish upon a star? For a bank is better by far. Whatever you're wishing for this Christmas, we'll give you low interest and no fuss.
Co-op Bank is making Christmas wishes come true. Fix up your home, treat your loved ones, and get everything on your Christmas list this year with our no-fuss loans. As we count down the 12 days to Christmas, you can win awesome prizes every day. Special terms and conditions apply.
Christmas wishes come true with Co-op Bank and you.
Welcome home.
Alrighty, folks, moving right along. It's now, let's see here, 26 minutes away from 10 o'clock, and we're going to get to our guest in just a wee bit. However, before I do that, I'm going to follow Margaret's instructions. Didn't come this morning, but they've been coming constantly over the past little while. Remember to like and share the live. I did it, Mags. Didn't forget. Now, some comments here on Facebook before I get to my guest. Louise Nyack Francois says, Teachers Union and Public Workers Union ought to take a political perspective and continue the strike until the government realizes that the power is in the hands of the working Grenadians and not the hands of those who lay on their backs. They have a democratic right to call for a no-confidence vote in the administration. People have the power to demand dialogue with MPs who cower behind a coward PM. How can you be a winner when you are not in the arena with any opponents? This is a false sense of being a champion. So says Louise Nyack Francois. Yvonne Joseph is saying good morning to you folks out there, and so is Lydia James from a cold Canada. Good for you, girl. Enjoy it. It's only just getting started. Fitzroy Adams says, I am saying to the union leaders, don't back down and don't sell out your members. Stand firm for what is willfully yours. Forward ever, backward never. And the Bon Joseph is saying, good morning, George, and good morning, beautiful people of Grenada. My dear friends, take a look, take a look. There they are, all saddled up and ready to go. My guests this morning are Kalana Charles, the lady on the left of your screen there with black and white. She's a director with the Grenada Community Library. And on her left is Tamika Binda. You are quite familiar with Tamika. She's been doing the Caribbean Literature Quote of the Week for some time now. Let me say good morning to you ladies. How art thou? Tamika, you're old-fashioned in this environment. So let me say good morning. Let me say good morning to Kalana. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
That's
How are you today?
That's not true, because I heard you. I'm going to tell the people you're sniffing and sneezing because of my air conditioning in here this morning.
That aside, I'm good.
Apart from that, you're fine.
I'm good, yes.
Nice of you to join us. And Tamika, I understand you're going to be sharing some information with us about about an event that's coming up, the 4th anniversary Storybook Gala.
Yes, 4th anniversary Storybook Gala.
So tell us about it.
Okay, so the library usually has a series of events that is carried out throughout the year. And one of those events would be our 4th anniversary Storybook Gala. This event is one of our major fundraising events. It will be held on Saturday, December 29th at Sales Restaurant and Bar on the Carnage. This year, our theme for the gala would be A Brighter Sun by Sam Selvon. And the reason why we chose that book is because of our West Indian collection of over 1,200 books, which was gifted to us by the late Dr. George Parfitt.
Familiar name.
Yes. So we chose that book, A Brighter Sun by Sam Selvon, in order to highlight our West Indian collection at the library.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, so
that's it? You
So-
must have a
so
whole...
that
You want me to jump in here?
Yes.
Okay, so the library is a non-profit. We raise funds so that we can continue to do the work that we are doing in the community. We are the only library in the town of St. George's, and we have found that the vision for the library is one thing, but the reality is so different. Case in point, with the recent situation with the strikes and the teachers, we have found that in addition to being a space where people can come and use the library and borrow books, parents were sending their children there in the day. So we've now had to take on additional responsibility for childcare, babysitting, and all that sort of a thing. And it puts a strain on our resources because we've had to repair extra toilets that got broken, children throwing all sorts of things in the toilets. And it goes to show that, nonprofits need that support in a way that, we can never really truly account for. You have a general idea of your operating expenses, but things that come up like broken toilets and broken chairs and broken doors, those things have to be replaced. So raising funds is one of the ways we are able to stay afloat. We do not get any subvention from any government agency or office. We have to always be coming up with innovative ways to raise the profile and solicit public support. And this gala that we are doing this year, it's the 4th annual one. We are really trying to get the public to come on board. We are doing good work. Our work makes a difference to the community, and we are asking to please consider helping in any way you can. Our tickets are $175, and some might say it's pricey, but it is worth it for the work that we do, The event is very fancy, so it's not.
I was just going to ask you about it. Is this a black tie affair?
It is. It's an elegant affair. So we ask people to come and dress up and feel sophisticated and so forth. But even if that isn't your thing, you can still support the library. And we solicit support not just in dollars and cents, but you can come and give of your time. Volunteers really help because it takes the workload off the core staff. So you can help. You can make a one-time donation. You could just come and drop something in our box. Every little bit counts. Every little bit counts. So please check out our website if you haven't heard of us before, if you aren't very familiar with us and the work we're doing. It's GrenadaCommunityLibrary.com. Our contact information is on the site. You can get in touch. One of our friendly staff will assist you as best as they can. But we would love to have you join us at our gala. Tickets are available at the library and from board members. They are $175. And of course, even if you don't have the time or that isn't your thing, there are other ways that you can support, and we're always keen to let the public know how we can benefit from their help.
There are a couple of things I'm a little bit curious about, and I want to ask you this before you go. First of all, Grenada is not known to be a reading community. But do you find that people are coming out to the library as much as you would like to see them?
The library's membership right now is about 2,600.
2,600 out of a population of what, 108,000?
Right. We have an active...
let's say, children. More members are children from primary schools. We have a few from secondary schools. But our adult traffic at the library is low. So although we have about 2,600 members, the active members will say is about around 300, which comprises mostly of primary school students. So after they finish school, they would come over to the library. We usually have little activities that we do during the week, which probably is the reason why we have a lot of primary school students come into the library. We have a chess club that we have on Tuesdays. We also have an after-school activity program where we help the children with one-on-one individual homework help, and we also have reading as well. So I believe that is a reason why we have more students than more adults. Members active members coming into the library. Another thing is that a lot of people don't know that there is a library. Since after the public library closed down, as far as concerned, as far as I know, that's it. So lots of people do not know that there's a library in Grenada.
And you guys just moved to the new premises down on at the foot of Lucas Street.
Yes, opposite Henry and Henry Bristol. So that building was gifted to us by Mr. James Bristol. Yeah. Right, and we've been there. I guess another thing is, to get to the library, I had to climb Marcus Hill. And probably that might be a little reason why people don't usually come. Because, after work, you're working in town, and to walk up Marcus Hill, you're tired and so on. It's really difficult. But hopefully, with a little publicity and more getting activities that will involve adults, will help us to raise our awareness to the Grenadian public. Right.
Now, what sort of material do you have? Somebody coming to the library, can we describe the library as a comprehensive collection, or do you specify in certain types of material?
Okay, so we do. So if you come to the library, we have a children's section. Children's section would be downstairs. So that's a children's library. If you go upstairs, you'll have the adult library, which contains books as romance, fiction, teen fiction, all those kind of things. So when adults come to the library, or even secondary school children, we refer them to upstairs. to the adult library upstairs children, more primary school children. There are 1 or 2 secondary school children, but they'll be in the range of forms 1 and 2, right? They can stay down there as well. And we also have our West Indian collection, which is open to the public. It's once you enter the library, you will see it right there. So we have both fiction and poetry. We also do have spaces available where people can come. Say if you want like a hour to do some studying, so on, you can feel free to come to the library and do that and get that done. Yeah.
We also have a conference room upstairs that can be used for workshops, training sessions, and it is rented by the hour with all the modern amenities such as AC, projector, screens, and all that jazz. So a lot of people are always looking for spaces where where they can just come do a quick meeting or maybe do some interviews or something of the sort. Our space is available at a very affordable cost.
Alana, I'm going to put you on the spot. I know this is probably mean of me, but I got to ask you this. So when are we getting a new library?
Oh gosh.
The questions get easier.
Lord. No, when are we getting a new library?
Have you heard any talk?
I haven't heard any talk. I don't think that is on the radar of powers that be. But I feel like, as I was saying to someone last night, we are the government. So if they are not doing it, then the onus is on us to come together as a collective and do it. Just as how this library exists. People saw the need and they didn't sit and wait. So we may have to become more active, not just waiting on somebody in a building to strike a pen and make things happen, but we will have to get together and start being the change or contributing to the change we wish to see.
Kalana, let me tell you, you don't know how far-reaching that comment is, because it's not just about getting a new library. There's so many things we are sitting back and waiting on.
Yeah.
We need to get off our duffs and do something.
Yeah.
Well, good luck, and you guys keep on trucking with the very little that you have. I know that Tamika has been doing her part in spreading the quote of the week, and she's always mentioning the George Prophet collection.
Yes.
You're very proud of that, aren't you?
Yes, we are. That way we can get a lot more people to come to the library, because all the authors are West Indian and Afro-Americans.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with all this being said, we like to encourage the public, businesses, people to come out and support our fundraising event. The event starts at 7:00 p.m.
And the date again?
Saturday, December 29th at Sales Restaurant and Bar. That's on the Carnage. It's by Nawasa.
Okay,
so it just walked on. That's a restaurant on the sea, basically, on the Carnage.
Beautiful setting,
Yes, it is a beautiful place.
Yeah.
So, encourage people to come out, support, and your support will help us continue to provide a fund and create a space of learning to all our Grenadian members.
So I guess I can look forward to seeing you in a tuxedo?
In a pretty dress.
Pretty dress.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I have a note here from somebody who is watching you in New York right now. He's a good friend of ours, Anthony D. Riggs. Ever heard of him? No?
Not sure.
No, okay. Have you ever heard of a guy named Chris D. Riggs here?
Yes.
Hey, Chris's bro.
Okay, I think all the D. Riggs are probably related, so I sort of assumed there
They
was a
better
connection.
Okay, Anthony says, good morning, George. It is so sad that many of our people don't visit libraries or read sufficiently for that matter.
Yeah.
Years ago, it was different. Someone once said, if you want to hide something from people, put it in a book. Anthony, Kalana agrees with you, my dear friend. Okay, Kalana and Tamika, thank you so much for coming in this morning, and good luck with the event on the 29th, 7 o'clock in the evening.
And let me just mention the web address one more time. It is GrenadaCommunityLibrary.com, not .org as some people think it's .com. Check us out. You can send an email there, not just about a gala, but to inquire about our various services and how you feel you could support the work that we're doing. It's good work. It's making meaning for the community. And the library is also a safe space for a lot of children. They come after school, they do their homework, but you get to know them, you get to know what's happening in their lives, and for some of them, it's just a safe space before they go home and face sometimes some very uncomfortable situations that children should not be dealing with. So there's a lot that we do beyond just giving students books. There's a lot. So thank you for having us.
My pleasure.
And have a great day.
And once again, your location is down at the foot of Lucas Street in the Bristol and Bristol building, right?
Yeah, opposite the law firm.
Opposite the law firm.
Opposite
the law firm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, ladies, and just hang tight there for a wee bit because I want to get into my very next segment very quickly here now. We're starting to run out of time. There's a lady by the name of Tessa Barry, and as I mentioned at the top of the program, those of you who join us every Sunday for Sundays with George Grant, very familiar with that name. Well, I was scouting through social media just last night, and I came across something which I thought I need to share this with my listeners and viewers this morning. Tessa wrote a little prayer. Let me quote. Father, I honestly and sincerely pray that you grant me the ability never to be politically blind. Please, Father, let me be able to always know that government is not doing me a favor when they build roads and community centers, when they create opportunities for employment, when they do what's necessary to improve our health sector, education, etc. But Father, help me to understand that this is the job that they are elected to do. To manage our finances and use them for the development of citizens and country. Father, guide my thoughts and my tongue, that my thinking and comments may always be for the betterment of this country. In your name, I humbly pray. Folks, ain't that beautiful? Written, like I said, by Tessa Barry. I'll tell you what, Georgie Porgy is going to take another little break here, and we're going to come back. Don't run away yet.
Grenadian General Insurance Company, strength and stability. Grenadian General Insurance Company, tell your friends, tell your family. We cover householders comprehensive, motor and even fire too. Contractors all risk burglary, public liability, professional indemnity, directors liability, and wait, we still have more. Come and find out more what you're waiting for.
We are located on Scott Street, St. George's. For more information, call 440-2434.
Tell everybody.
Spread some cheer and show you care with Grenada's Give a Wish promotion. Do you know someone who has had a challenging year and deserves some good fortune, or a worthy cause that needs extra support? Grant them a wish this holiday season with Grenlec. Just pay your bill in full, then write their name, address, and phone number on the top portion of your bill. add your phone number and drop it into the wish box at any of our Grenlec customer centers, or you can enter online via our Facebook page. 15 customers will receive a $500 electricity voucher for giving a wish to someone who deserves it. And 15 winners will each have their wish granted, valued at up to $1,500. What's more, 230 lucky customers will win $75 electricity vouchers. Spread the cheer this year with Grenlec's Give-A-Wish promotion. Visit our website or Facebook page for more information. Terms and conditions apply. Promotion ends December 21st.
Why wish upon a star? For a bank is better by far. Whatever you're wishing for this Christmas will give you low interest and no fuss.
Co-op Bank is making Christmas wishes come true. Fix up your home, treat your loved ones, and get everything on your Christmas list this year with our no-fuss loans. As we count down the 12 days to Christmas, you can win awesome prizes every day. Special terms and conditions apply.
Christmas wishes come true with Co-op Bank and you.
I forgot to mention that also in the audience with us this morning is Lori Bridgman. Hello, Lori. Got there a little bit late, but she says she will pick it up later on. Thanks for joining us anyway. Folks, this morning, got a couple of cruise ships in town this morning. You should have seen the Aida Perla. I've only seen this ship start coming in here this season. Nice big ship. She came in just before 8 o'clock this morning, has a capacity of about 3,286. Huh? Yeah? Pretty chunky. And she's tied up down at Melville Street. And tied up in here at the Carenage is the Star Pride. She came in a little after Aida. And they're both going to be leaving at 6 o'clock this evening. I hope they don't bounce. The Star Pride only has about 212 on board, okay? Pilgrims, parting word from the Holy Scriptures as we pull the curtain down on today's edition of Gudday Grenada. It comes to you from Psalm number 9, verses 9 and 10. The Lord is a refuge for the oppressed, a stronghold in times of trouble. Those who know your name trust you. For you, Lord, have never forsaken those who seek you. Make a note, Psalm 9, verses 9 and 10. Okay, anything else? I think we've covered all our bases. Oh, hey, George, how could you forget? You know, I'm sitting here this morning. The reason why I've got this smile from ear to ear is because as I look at my switcher here, I see that my green light, you know the green light we constantly talk about? Can you believe it? 2 days in a row? Well, yesterday we had some hiccups, but this thing has not hiccuped all morning. And I've also been monitoring the stream on Grenada Broadcast. Can you believe that? Which means that very shortly after the program ends, it's going to be up on Facebook. Yeah. Because there have been no interruptions. Things have gone very, very well. And therefore, you should have no delay in going back and watching it all over if you wish to. And again, tell your friends about us. On that note, Pilgrims, Georgie Porgy is going to hightail it out of here with thanks and God's blessings. Be blessed. Be blessed. Be thankful for what you've got and for what you don't got. Lori Bridgman says, George, the small business sector not giving back enough to help with the development of the country when they have been granted loans. Okay? God bless you, Pilgrims.